What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens Ranking video. Today, guys, we are going to be ranking episodes 10 through 20 episodes, the full episodes from the last technically 11 episodes. So, if you guys don't remember this, it was a while back, so I completely understand, but I started a series where I would go over the last 10 episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 series and rank the episodes. Yesterday, I uploaded the actual duels from those 11 episodes. Yes, I am doing 11 because there was a hiatus that ended up happening. If you saw that video, you understand why. The hiatus was at episode 9. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait. And just did the video and decided just to put 11 in this video. So there's a lot more to rank in this, which makes it even harder, and it's going to probably make it a lot longer. So that is great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and let's get into this video. Hopefully it was not as long. I didn't realize that last video went 30 minutes long. I mean, that was 9 rankings for a 30-minute video. Oh boy. So definitely get something to drink, get something to eat, just pause it and come back when you got your stuff ready. So without further ado, hope you guys are back and let's get right into it. Also, I do want to mention something before we actually get into rankings. I've said it for the last 2 videos. I don't want to forget it for this one. If you guys have any video suggestions that you guys want me to do on the channel, in the comment section below, put hashtag VI or hashtag VT with your response to the episode, and then tell me like your video topic idea that you guys want me to do, and if it's in the realm of possibility that I can do, then I will do it, and that will depend on like time and stuff like that. I have a lot more time to be able to make videos now, but we'll just have to see. So I wanted to make that before I forget. So let's actually get into the rankings now. Alright, so starting off this list at 11, and sadly did not make the top 10 on this list, as my least favorite episode out of the 11 was episode 17. I don't know what it was with this episode, but honestly this episode did not click with me as much as I was kind of hoping for. It was really cool in this episode that you had the cat versions of past dragons, with the blue eyes white dragon, red eyes black dragon, and odd eyes pendulum dragon being in the forms of cats. I thought was really cool. Also to kind of see the struggle between Rook and how he kind of feels with Yuga now wanting to become the king of duels as well, and this is kind of hurting him in a way, and he does not really know what to feel about this anymore, and he was just kind of going through this inner turmoil, which I think was really good. I think the thing that bothered me was Schrodinger himself. He was just not really that appealing of a character in my eyes. He honestly felt like the first one-shot character out of the entire series so far, and that one-shot characters have not really been my favorite in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, just because we don't really know much about him. In fact, we don't even know his relationship with Neil, because I don't think they interacted once the entire episode, and this is the last time we've seen him right now, at least. I don't know if we'll ever see him again. But this also shows in this episode what Neil will do to the people that do lose, as after Schrodinger lost the duel, he ended up falling through. He fell into a hole, and we haven't seen him since. Same thing with Geta, which we'll talk about his episode later on in the video. But other than that, there really wasn't much that I could really talk about. I mean, even like the duel itself, it was okay, but I didn't like the whole like kind of chance thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because we've seen it already a couple of times, and the fact that Rook just picked monster cards every single time he did it. I guess it kind of got a little bit annoying, I guess, but yeah, episode 17, even though I'm gonna say this though, all 11 episodes were above a 7 out of 10 for me. This one was just at 7 out of 10 for me when making up this list. I just can't put it any higher because there really wasn't anything that appealing to this duel. And which is fine, because this was the first duel that we were actually introduced to the whole system of how Yuga and his team is going to be dueling against Neil and how it is going to work. So it's fine for where it's at, and it sadly is my least favorite out of 11. Now let's get into the top 10. And how about we start with a very debatable one? Coming in at number 10 is episode 14, which was the only episode that did not feature a duel in it. Now look, I know a lot. From Nico, I think it was the site I was told about. It had some of the highest ratings that Yu-Gi-Oh has seen for Yu-Gi-Oh Sevens. I think it honestly had the highest at a very high. I think it was like 94% said one, which is really really good. But here's the thing though, I like more action-based parts of a show. I don't really like these more comedic ones. Now the comedic stuff is fine. I don't know. Maybe it's because the cooking didn't interest me as much as I really wanted it to. The reason why this episode was honestly above the Schrodinger episode was because of what it ended up doing. The whole thing with Kaizo getting his body switched out and turned into the bicycle seat that we see later on was something that I didn't even catch. They did a really good planning with the Roman Chan thing that ended up happening, when after that whole duel that they ended up having, which I didn't put that on the ranking episode duels video I did yesterday. That was because we didn't see the duel. I did not want to include that. So this is future. This is past me saying this because I'm recording this before I upload it. Um if you guys ever mention that duel, that's the only reason why it's not on that list is because it did not show the full duel at all. So I was not thinking it was right enough to be able to put that on that list because there really wasn't a duel we just saw cards going by. They did so fast I don't even know what cards they played, so fair enough. But honestly, that was the more interesting thing was the Kaiser stuff. I mean, the Roman stuff was comedic. I don't know, maybe it's just because cooking has never been my thing. I mean, I'll cook something because, well, I need food, but I can just, honestly, when it comes to me, I'll just grab a Pop-Tart or whatever it is, and that will satisfy my hunger if I really am hungry, or if it comes to supper, I'll get something. I'll make a pizza or something. I don't know what it is. When you get into the college world, it's gonna be rough. Seriously, when you get out of your parents' house, it's not a fun time. Let me just say that. But with that enough said, episode was fine. It's just I like the more action-paced duels, or not just duels, just episodes, and this one just didn't have it. So it sits at number 10, but honestly, I still think it was a good episode though for what it was. Here's another pretty debatable one, episode 11, which is the episode with Roman versus Gakuto. You guys already know I didn't really was the big fan of that duel. My biggest problem with Roman's angry mode and all that stuff, it just didn't really click with me. It still doesn't click with me going further on. And I don't think I need a really. I might not talk much on this one because I've talked about this so many times that I just feel like I'm just getting repetitive every time I say it. I didn't like the whole hangry mode. I mean, the duel was fine, and I think what honestly boosted this above the other ones was just that this episode actually kind of made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. With Mitsuboro coming out of nowhere with Sushi Waifu and then the ripoff Jim Crocodile Cook, I think it was just great, and it was kind of funny to see that and just I guess seeing it for the first time was okay, but the way she was acting, I just didn't like it. I don't know. I always complain. At this point, I just want to like it now because I complained about it so many times, but maybe it's just because I really care about Roman. I don't want to hate her. I really don't. I don't know. But it was good to see Yame Ruler in this duel. You guys know that's my second favorite monster, my favorite being Dragonic Slayer, which we did see in the Schrodinger duel. I forgot to mention, Dragonic Slayer was used, not summoned sadly, but it was still used, so that was a good thing on that part. But yeah, there really isn't much to talk about. I've explained this so many times that I feel like I would just sound like a broken record to explain it again, so I'm going to leave it at that. This episode comes at a number 9 on my list. Up next, we got episode 16. This one is kind of similar to the last one where it was another Roman episode, which I swear, I love Roman, but this did have some of the issues that it had before. I think this one was executed a little bit better as she was in full control of the duel. She wasn't like not really knowing what to do because she was kind of hungry throughout the duel, and I was kind of messing with her dueling in a way, and it kind of really hurt it in a way, but it had the same problem. She went into this mode again, or this awakening. I'm gonna try to just call it awakening. I called it berserk mode just because of the whole thing with Arc 5. It's actually called the awakening, but fans like to call it berserk mode, so I kind of took that with Roman. Some people don't like that, but I don't know. It seems kind of fun. But anyway, the same problems with that. But what I liked about this a little bit more than episode 11 was the stipulations before the duel. Roman stepping up and volunteering to duel in this was a really good moment for her. You know, she still kind of felt bad after the whole thing with Roa and the band, you know, where she ended up causing them into a situation where Yuga had to duel Roa in order to save Rush Duels, and Rook being really mad at her, calling her a traitor and all that, and even was shown in this episode, which made episode 14, that part, kind of completely pointless, to be completely honest. But her stepping up, and even when she broke the plate, she said, I will step up, I will risk my own like freedom, because if she lost the duel, she would be washing dishes for the rest of her life for no charge at all. And she decided to step up, which was a really good moment and made me really respect her as a character. But again, same problem with episode 11 that I had with this duel. And honestly, I didn't really like Arya Arata that much. I think he was an okay character. I didn't like the fact that he cheated to do that. I mean, cheating is fine, but I don't know, I'm just getting kind of tired of it, I guess, because it kind of undermines the character that they're dueling, or the character himself, because the fact that he needs to cheat in order to win, it kind of hurts the character in my eyes, because he's basically showing that he's not strong at all, which kind of does suck. But with all that said, this episode makes number 8 on my list. You see, with 11 episodes, I'm sorry guys, I have to try to remember the numbers the best I can. I believe this is 8 because, yeah, this is number 8. Sorry, I'm all over the place. All right, I mean, I'm recording 6 videos at a time, so bear with me. But this episode makes number 8 on my list. Coming at 7th is episode 19. Now, I will say, though, I was very surprised that this duel ended up being so high on this list. Before the episode even came out, I knew, like, this episode is going to be in the bottom for this list. This is going to be an easy bottom of the tier list. It's going to be a boring episode. But what this episode managed to accomplish is that it made me kind of care for a chair. No, you did not hear me wrong. I care for the chair. This duel kind of introduced Sebastian, which I feel like out of all the people we got introduced to, other than maybe Geta, this one actually gave a backstory on this character, you know, being basically the greatest chair to ever exist. And he feels like someone has to be worthy to be able to sit on him, which he believes is Neil. And then Yuga is worth sitting on a bicycle seat, which, you know, not really the best of looks for that character. You know, he was being arrogant. In fact, he even goes for an OTK in this episode, or in that episode, because he was able to destroy all the opponent's monsters on the field, get a monster with 4,000 attack points, and went for a direct attack. But Yugioh was able to have a trap, and it was able to survive. You know the big deal. But what this episode did, too, was that it also made you try to care for Kaizo in a way. Now, honestly, I still don't like Kaizo. I still feel him to be a little bit annoying. However, this episode made me respect him a lot more in the terms of Yuga and Co. Even though we don't like, or I don't know, some people might still not like him, think about it from the character's perspective. You know, that, and especially for Yuga created Kaizo. So this is an important treasure. You know, in the beginning of the episode, we see that he keeps all of his roads, his inventions. He doesn't want to throw it away because he made memories building those inventions. And it was the same way with Kaizo. I mean, Roman, Gakuto, and Rook have the same thing as well, as they kind of gained a bond with Kaizo as well. And I feel like showing that more in this episode really made you care for Kaizo as well, because these kids really do care for him, and it honestly made me respect them a lot more, and it made me respect Kaizo a little bit more. And then even at the end of the treat me like the other ones, sent me through the hole. I do not deserve to be your chair. Another one will be coming in soon. But Neil says, no, you're my chair, and I want to still keep you. And you even see him having emotion. It's kind of like how I was in Yugioh Reigns, or like the Ignis, where they were able to have free will. I really did like that a lot, and it made me really feel for these characters, because you can just relate to them so much to feel like they're wanted, I guess, and that really hit for me, to be completely honest. Um, the reason why it's not higher though is because of the fact that, to be honest, the duel wasn't really that much interesting. I don't even remember. I think this is about the same range as I put it on my list, but you gotta give props for where it's deserved, and it did really good things for Kaizo and Sebastian, which I don't even know we're gonna see again. So we'll have to see. But episode 19 is 7th on my list. Now this one is kind of similar to the last one, but I think this one was a little bit better for me. Coming at 6 was episode 18, which contained Roa and Geta. Now what I liked a little bit more about this one is, I love Roa, so you already know he's going to be good in my books when he's in the episode. Hints for future ratings on this list. But anyway, to see the relationship between Geta and Roa, from being childhood friends to always hanging out with each other, to now having a conflict because he feels like, he goes behind his back basically because of Roa just wanting to do a whole bunch of things. He promised him a duel when he was little and ended up playing the guitar to some girls, and then even made a band afterwards. So this duel was kind of like going back and trying to repay his debt for that duel. But it also, I think, just the relationship between those two, I could relate to a little bit more. You have a best friend. Now, the romantic feelings, well, I say that with quotation marks because some people interpret it as a actual, like, relationship wise, in terms of he loves Roa, to more of a friend situation. Let me know what you guys think of that. I know I said it's like it's a ship, but I understand completely of the friendship. I kind of now died down to that a little bit more, but I'm still on the other side of that. But to see that relationship was really cool. With Roa also singing the song together, I think was really cool to show how they were friends. I really did like that a lot, and even tried to save him after he was supposed to fall down the hole, even though we all know what happens. So anyway, that was really good. That was a really good episode. It's kind of the same reasons. I think I just liked the Roa and Geta relationship just a little bit more than Sebastian, but kind of the same reasons for the last one. And this episode makes it number 6 on the list. Just missed out on top 5, but you know what? 6 is not bad at all, to be completely honest. Come on, throat. We're at the top 5 now. Let's keep on going. Jeez, I didn't realize how dry my throat would get. And I have a water bottle with me, actually, so I don't know what in the world's going on. So my voice sounds really low. I do apologize. But anyway, coming up at number 5 is episode 12, which was the first part of the Yuga and Roa duel. This episode did drop a little bit as I kind of watched it back a little bit. Really nothing much happened in this episode, but what I liked about it was 2 things. We got Yuga's backstory on how he knew Otis and how he obtained the 7th Road Magician card. In the past he went to this like dueling event and he saw Otis dueling and he threw him the 7th Road Magician card, and that's how he ended up obtaining it, and how Otis kind of telling him to create his own road, his own path to his own future with this card, which I really did like. But also just the stipulation of the duel, because if you guys remember in this episode, if Yuga drew 7's Road Magician, it didn't matter if he has it in his hand when he draws during his draw phase, he automatically loses. That was the stipulation that was put in this duel. So it made the duel way more intense than it was before. And in fact, when he drew it, I was in complete shock. I honestly thought this was going to be the first duel where he didn't use 7's Road Magician. Was completely wrong on that, and he drew it at the final episode, which I was in shock, and it really did make me like the episode. Duel was kind of slow. I think only there was one turn each. I think Yuga took two because on Roa's turn he did the whole hand destruction, which was great to see that card. By the way, I love hand destruction. Hand destruction. Man, my throat is really getting to me. Anyway, seeing hand destruction again was really cool, and just this episode was just great just to learn the backstory and to learn about Yuga's past. I think it was just really cool, and for those reasons alone, this duel makes number 5 on my list. All right, hopefully my voice is better. I really had to take a good drink of water there. But coming at number coming at number 4 is episode 15, which was the episode where we get introduced to Maguru. Gonna be completely honest, I didn't mind Maguru. I actually think he was a pretty interesting character. You know, he was kind of the resemblance to Meku Tsunami, which I thought was a pretty cool character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Then you had the other ones, which we don't even talk about those. Captain Solo, anyone? But anyway, guys, I think this was a really cool one. This was another episode that kind of focused on the whole thing with the fake Kaizo. You know, Kaizo tells them that Otis was located on this island and you needed to get on a boat to go down there. And that's when the whole gang gets trapped on the boats and ends up having to duel Maguro. Well, Maguro challenges them to the duel because of the bike getting flown into the ocean, because Kaizo goes and chases them onto the boat, which I think was hilarious in a way. But anyway, the dueling, I really did like the duel. With this duel, and it kind of is a similar thing when I was ranking the actual duel with Yugioh, and I didn't even mention that the last time. Oh no, I did. Never mind. This episode had my third favorite card in it, Lightning Bolt Condor. I really did love the summoning of this card a lot, and it was just cool to finally see it. I was waiting so long for it. I think we were in the Roman duel, and I was still excited because I was thinking, oh, when it comes to episode 12, we're going to see it. Nope, maybe 13. Nope. Now, then it comes to 15, and we were able to, well, 14, didn't even have it. 15, we came into this, was very excited. Even the Ace monster that Maguru summoned, I really did like. I think it had a really cool design. It was like a machine, kind of like tuna card. I think that looked really cool. But this episode also was good for the plot, which big plot points are going to be really big for me as well, because I love storytelling when it comes to the shows. Like, I like the fight scenes, but I also like the growth of a story. It will make it high no matter what it is if it's really good for story. Even though 14 was lower on this list, maybe that's not right. I don't know, but honestly, this duel wasn't anything special. I will say that though, and that's why it couldn't be anything higher. But for all the reasons though, I think it was still a pretty good episode, and it makes 4th on my list. But now, guys, we are going to the top 3. Now we are at the top 3 on this list, and kicking it off is episode 15. Or I keep doing that. I thought of 15 for a second. I don't know why. It's episode 10. I love creepy stuff when it comes to characters, and this character is just perfect for that. From his design to the way he acts to even his deck was just creepy, and I absolutely loved it. This was actually the first duel to actually kick off Team Yuga versus Team Roa in the battle for who took ownership of Rush Duels. And honestly, I thought this was a pretty good start. I really did like Amayo Yoshio's character, and kind of what I liked about him more than Schrodinger is that we kind of got a backstory on him. You know, he always felt like he never got the respect that he deserved in the band. He always felt like he was shafted to the side, which, to be fair, Gata was as well, which, I don't know, maybe episode 18 kind of implied it more that he wasn't. But the point is that Yoshiro felt like he was not important at all. No one would ever remember his name. They just called him, I think, just the brass guy, I think. Because that's what he played, right? I can't even remember. But what I liked about this is it also showed characteristics to Rook as well. Is that after the duel, he respectfully says that was a great duel, Amayo Yoshiro. And you just see the light in his face, you know. He finally got someone to recognize his name, even though he kind of forgets it in episode 18. But we're not going to talk about that, because technically it never happened. But anyway, just seeing that just made Rook just a better character in my eyes. And honestly, it just was a great duel. The duel is good. The duel is fine. I think I kind of wish that Rook did a little bit more because he didn't play until the final turn, in which he also played Chocolate Dragon, which I really do like that monster a lot. So it was always going to be an ups in my eyes, but honestly, this was still a good episode no matter what, and it does make number 3 on my list. And now let's go on to number 2. And the runner-up on this list, just missing the top spot, is episode 13. I really did like this episode a lot. We got to see kind of Roa's perspective in this episode. We kind of saw his own relationship with Otis and kind of like how he knew Yuga knew Otis, because in the past he thought he was getting thrown the Seventh Row Magician. He thought he was getting inspired, but in fact it was actually Yuga. He kind of gets mad at that, and that's where this whole situation comes into play. This was also the duel where we got to see Roa's Ace monster, which I think was really cool. I do love the monster a lot, and honestly that was just a great episode in itself. This was another episode that caught me off guard as well, when Yugioh just blasted through the wall and you saw Bakuro and the gang, just because they were the one that actually researched the files and found out that Roa was in that past as well. So that was very interesting. And then even afterwards, I think was just great. Also, was this the episode that did the articles? No, that was last episode, which I thought was a Mr. Goha episode, the 6666 from episode 12. Forgot to mention that on that as well. But overall, I thought this was a really good episode. The backstory that we really needed for Roa, I think, was good. And overall, I think the ending duel was great as well. When you see, we got to see Seven Drone Mage, and I love when he stops and he just makes Roa drop through the hole. I thought was absolutely beautiful. And even like the insert song made it so much better. And at the final shot of the episode, when we got to see that mysterious AI robot restaurant, that robot from episode 6, when Kaizo snuck into the AI restaurant, the ramen restaurant, or the ramen theme park, excuse me, and we got to see that, which was our first glimpse of Neo, because that character inside the thing was Neo. So I think that was a really cool foreshadowing there, and that just made me really love that episode. And then the insert song, which is phenomenal. Just great overall. Sadly, it just missed out on the top spot, but number 2 is nothing to be ashamed about. Well, through a process of elimination, my favorite episode from the last 11 episodes through 10 through 20 was the last episode we got, episode 20. I don't know what it was with this episode, but this was the most relatable episode that we have gotten from 7 so far. You know, with the side of the Adachi family, you know, with Yoshio struggling to find his dream. You know, he had to answer a question on one of his assignments where he had to say, what does he want to do? What is his dream? And he couldn't fill it out because he does not know. And that even concerns Mimi in that episode, and it makes her want to fight for her son. And honestly, from whatever way you look at it, from a parent side to just someone that's just growing up, you know, that's Yoshio became the most relatable character in this episode, trying to find his own dream, with Rook even telling him, you know, through dueling you can make a road for yourself to find your dream, whatever that's going to be, which obviously it's going to be through dueling. It wouldn't be a Yu-Gi-Oh show if it wasn't. So I think that was really cool, and just seeing them fighting against each other, because it was mother versus son, and how we get his mom, Mimi, how she basically fights her son. You know, she goes to work every single day and then comes home, takes care of her child, and then repeats this 24/7, which made me respect her a lot more. I can't say that from an actual parent standpoint. The only thing I have closest to that is taking care of 2 dogs. I get home from work and then I come home and take care of my animals, whether that be letting them out to go to the bathroom or feeding them and making sure they got water and stuff like that. And even just playing with them to keep them occupied, because you gotta have fun with your dogs. So and then Yoshio, he does the same thing. He was basically fighting for his mom. She does so much for him. In fact, she goes to the extent to make his favorite Neapolitan spaghetti. It, it was just great. But what also made it a lot better was that Yugen Ko still got a penalty because through the simulations that were made, it said that Mimi was still kind of part of Yuga's team. So since she did lose, it ended up giving them a penalty. Something I did not like though was the fact of how they did that. They made it seem like it just was coincidental. Neil didn't know that was going to happen. When I watched it unsubbed, I thought, "Oh, Neil was just such a genius." I mean, I was so shocked. Like, he planned this out from the start that he put Mimi in there because no matter which way you looked at it, it didn't matter who won or lost, Yuga was still. I was so shocked, but then they undermined that with saying like this was when Yuga said like this was coincidental. You didn't purposely did this, and it says that's correct because he didn't. He just said like Mimi was asking like I want to find my own path to beat Yuga to know where I'm at would go on. He said fine, I don't care, just do it, and it ended up working in his favor. So a little undermined to be completely honest, but still everything else to the relatableness of this episode, it just honestly wasn't touchable. 13 was really, really close, but I had to give it the episode 20 for just how relatable it is. If I can relate to a character or I can understand and try to relate to a character, it's always going to be high in my opinion. And that makes episode 20 my favorite episode out of the last 11 episodes. And that is going to be it, guys. That is my rankings of episodes 10 through 20. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' rankings down below. Or if you want to, let me know your favorite episode from the 10 or 20. As a challenge too, let me know what's your favorite from the first 20 episodes. Going back all the way from episode 1 to episode 20. What was your favorite episode? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts down below. Again, if you want a video idea or a video topic that you want me to do, type in your idea with the hashtag VI or hashtag VT, and I will work on that. I can't wait to see what I get out of that. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, guys, take care. Bye.